Okay, the Premier League and the EFL have agreed a £250 million rescue package. It took 2 months longer than it should have. This should have been agreed back when the season started in September. There should have been a plan on the table because League One and League Two clubs stated that without fans in attendance, we will go bust. We need a salary cap if that is the case. If we're not allowed to have fans in attendance, it costs us more money to play games than with reduced attendances. It actually was going to cost the clubs money to play games rather than just shut down the season, basically. When we found out at the beginning of October that fans weren't going to be allowed back in until approximately March, although now it's a bit sooner than that, yeah, the risk of clubs going out of business was going to come true. Now, let's have a little read of part of the article that's on the BBC website. That's where I'm getting this news from. Let's have a little read, shall we? So basically, this is how it's going to work. The Championships gets 200 million, and League One and League Two gets 50 million. That's basically how the basic finances break down. Now, this is very, very interesting. The Premier League will pay some money towards the EFL getting a £200 million loan, which will then lend to the Championship interest-free. Now, that is vital. All loans for the Championship are capped at 8.33 million per club and must be repaid by June 2024. That's Championship level. It doesn't say they have to take the 8.33 million. Some clubs may actually go without receiving any loan at all. Others may take less. But the maximum a club can get is 8.33 million. The 50 million for League One and League Two is interesting. 30 million will be paid to the 48 clubs as a grant based on missed gate receipts from 2019 and 2020 up to 2021. So from the last 2 seasons. League One clubs will, regardless of financial situation, receive a payment of £375,000. League Two clubs will receive a grant of £250,000. It's not a lot of money. The remaining 15 million out of that rescue package will be distributed using a lost gate revenue share calculation. How that works, I don't know how they're going to calculate it, but they are. And that's basically where the money is going. Now, how did we get here? Well, according to the article that I'm reading, obviously the proposed rescue package for League One and League Two was rejected in October, because it didn't contain the Championship in any rescue package. The Project Big Picture then got leaked very shortly afterwards. That made Liverpool and Man United look very stupid, and other clubs in the Premier League rejected that at a vote. Then the Parliamentary Select Committee, which cost Greg Clark his job, where Rick Parry, the chairman of the EFL, admitted that they were aware of a minimum of 10 clubs that were basically not going to be able to pay wages to players and non-playing staff. We've also had a EFL board meeting, and Premier League shareholders gave their final approval. And what does it mean? What does it actually mean? Well, in the short term, no club should go bust this season, at least. In the medium term to long term, the money has to be repaid. The money has to be repaid. How many of these clubs will be profitable post-pandemic? How many clubs will be in a position to repay the money they're receiving right now? Especially in the Championship, a league known for financial recklessness is the best way I can describe the Championship, is financial recklessness in order to get to the Premier League. The fact that they've got 3.5 years to repay the loan says there's a bit of flexibility there. I can see not every Championship club going for the maximum 8.33 million loan. I can see some clubs going without because they're in a good financial position. The League One and League Two clubs get money regardless of their financial position, but it's not a lot. Personally, I think more money should have gone to League One and League Two and higher grant levels, because there are still clubs that are facing administration and going out of business, regardless of having a little cash injection in the short to medium term, because we don't know how long reduced attendances are going to be in place and how long these tiers are going to be in place. Yes, fans are starting to return, but some areas of the country fans are not allowed to return. So it's not a universal thing, and they are calculating with a weird calculation system. So if you're a club, let's say Stockport County, in Greater Manchester, you're not allowed to have fans, but if you're Exeter City, you are. That is the imbalance within the country. If you're Tranmere, you can have fans because you're in Merseyside because you're Tier 2. But if you're Bolton, you're in Greater Manchester, you're not. A regional difference. So the calculation on lost gate receipts, clubs charge different amounts for a standard matchday ticket. So that again creates a little bit of fluctuation in what a club would generate in revenue anyway. So it is going to be very, very interesting, but we should never have got to this stage. You know, it was looking highly likely very early on that League One and League Two clubs were going to reject the offer because it didn't include the Championship back in October. They did. The Parliamentary Select Committee ripped football a brand new one. It's the best way to describe it. And the football bosses of the Premier League, the Football League, and the FA were made to look very, very stupid. The fact that it got to that stage and a last-minute deal took place just shows the lack of faith. I think both sides, I think especially on the Premier League side, they were negotiating in bad faith. The FA were clearly weak. And Rick Parry, for all his flaws as an administrator, and the fans are angry at him for a lot of reasons. The fact that he omitted, 7% of our membership is basically not able to pay its players. 7%. That's 10 out of 72 Football League clubs below the Premiership unable to pay their staff. That's 10 out of 72. That's 7.2% of clubs unable to pay their players as a minimum. There could be more struggling. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if all the money gets repaid on time, and how many of these clubs end up actually being financially thriving and healthy. And the talks for salary cap haven't gone away. So there could be further discussions further down the line about salary caps, wage caps, transfer caps, but that wouldn't have to involve UEFA. But football finance is in the talking recently, especially with what's happening at St Mirren in Scotland with financial irregularities and money being skimmed. So there needs to be oversight with this rescue package. It can't be, here's a blank check, have some money. There's a likelihood that some of it will not end up actually where it should. Because if St Mirren's anything to go by in Scotland, and with past experiences with financial irregularities at other clubs, I will not be surprised if some clubs are up to no good when it comes to their finances in a bad way. Not just overspending or getting into debt because they're trying to make a higher league, but dodgy dealings taking place. So there needs to be oversight on this. There needs to be stronger governance as well long term. That's something that needs to come out of this, because we should not have been in this stage where it was a last-minute deal to get it over the line. This should have been sorted out before now, long before now. But I'm going to leave that there. Thank you very much for watching. Have obviously more videos to come. Place your comments below, and I'll see you very, very soon.